The stars looked peaceful from the bridge of Harmony's light. Captain Yuna pressed her thin, pale hands against the viewing window and watched the distant suns twinkle like tiny diamonds. Her ship carried food and medicine to the outer colonies, a simple trade mission that should have been safe, but space was not safe anymore. The attack came without warning. Dark ships appeared from behind an asteroid field, their hulls black as night. They moved fast and silent like hunters stalking prey. Unknown vessels. This is Captain Yuna of the trading ship Harmony's Light. She spoke into her communication device. Her voice was calm, as all Kalari voices were. Her people had never known war. We carry only supplies for the colonies. We mean no harm. The dark ships did not answer with words. They answered with weapons. Bright red beams cut through space and struck Harmony's Light. The ship shook like a leaf in a storm. Yuna fell to her knees as the lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red light. "Captain, communications officer," Do-Yan called out. His large dark eyes were wide with fear. "They hit our engines. We cannot move." More weapons fire hit the ship. The hull cracked and groaned. Air rushed out through holes in the walls. Watched her crew run to seal the brakes, their movements clumsy with panic. The Kalari had never faced violence before. They did not know how to fight. "Who are they?" Yuna asked. Do-Yan's fingers moved over his control panel. "The ship computers say they are Vorthok's syndicate. Pirates, Captain. They are boarding us." The main door to the bridge exploded inward. Smoke filled the air. Through the gray cloud came creatures that looked like nightmares. The Vorthok stood on four legs like giant spiders, yet their skin was hard like armor. Their eyes glowed red in the dark. The lead Vorthok spoke in a voice like grinding metal. "Kalari scum, your ship belongs to us now. You will come with us, or die." Yuna stepped forward, though her legs shook with fear. "Please, we have done nothing wrong. We are peaceful traders." The Vorthok leader laughed, a sound like breaking glass. "Yes, you are peaceful. That is why you are weak. That is why you will serve us or feed us." The pirates took most of the crew away. They left only a few Kalari behind to die slowly as the ship's life support failed. Yuna found herself trapped in a damaged section with 5 other survivors. The air grew thin. The temperature dropped. "They will kill us all," whispered Jinsu, the ship's doctor. His usual green skin had turned pale. With cold and fear? "No," Yuna said, though she was not sure she believed it. "Someone will help us. The Galactic Council will send ships." But even as she spoke, Yuna knew the truth. The Galactic Council moved slowly. They would hold meetings and debates while her people died. The council was made up of peaceful species. Like hers, they talked about problems, but never solved them with force. Do-Yan worked at his damaged communication station. Sparks flew from broken wires. "Captain, I might be able to send a distress signal." "To whom?" asked Jinsu. "The council ships are weeks away." "Everyone," Do-Yan said. "I can broadcast on all frequencies. Maybe someone will hear us." Yuna nodded. "Do it." Do-Yan's fingers moved over the controls. The communication array sparked and smoked, but it worked. A signal went out into space, carrying their location and a simple message. "This is Harmony's Light. We are Kalari. We need help. Please, anyone who can hear this, help us." The signal traveled through space at the speed of light. It passed dead worlds and empty systems. It reached the communication networks of a dozen species, but most ignored it. Distress calls were common in the Outer Rim. Pirates attacked ships every day, but the signal kept traveling, far away, on a small blue planet that most of the galaxy had forgotten. Lieutenant Jiwan sat at her desk in the Deep Space Monitoring Station. The station was built inside a mountain in what humans called South Korea. Guan was young for her job, but she was good at it. She listened to signals from space and tried to understand what they meant. Her computer made a soft beeping sound. A new signal had arrived. Jiwan put on her headphones and listened. The message was in a language she had never heard before, but the computer translated it quickly. Her eyes grew wide as she read the words on her screen. "Distress call from unknown species," she said to herself. Location, outer rim, Sector 7. Juan had been doing this job for 3 years. She had heard signals from trading ships, military patrols, and science vessels. But this was different. This was a cry for help from beings that sounded truly desperate. She picked up her phone and called her commanding officer, Admiral Hyunwoo. "This is Lieutenant Jiwon at Deep Space Monitoring. I have something you need to hear." Admiral Hyunwoo was a serious man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had fought in Earth's last war 20 years ago, but now he watched the stars for threats to his home world. He listened to the translated message 3 times. "Kaleri," he said slowly. "Never heard of them, but they sound scared." "Sir, our computers show that Sector 7 is very far away. It would take our ships weeks to get there." Admiral Hyunwoo stood up and walked to the window of his office. He could see the lights of Seoul in the distance. His people lived in peace now, but he remembered when they had to fight for their freedom. He remembered what it felt like to call for help when no one answered. "Lieutenant Jiwon." "How many ships do we have ready for deep space?" "The 3rd Fleet is on patrol near Jupiter, sir. 12 ships, including the battlecruiser Seoul's Wrath." "Get me Captain Minho on the communication line." Captain Minho was younger than the Admiral, but he was one of Earth's best ship commanders. His voice crackled through the speakers. "Admiral, what can I do for you?" "A distress call from an unknown alien species. They are under attack by pirates in Sector 7. There was silence on the line. Then Captain Minho spoke carefully. "Sir, we have never made contact with aliens before. Space treaties say we should report this to the World Council first." "The World Council will spend months talking about it," Admiral Hyunwoo said. "These beings will be dead by then." "What are your orders, sir?" Admiral Hyunwoo looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, people were dying while calling for help. It did not matter that they were not human. It did not matter that Earth's government would be angry with him later. "Prep the fleet, Captain. We are going hunting." Back on Harmony's light, Captain Yuna sat in the cold darkness and waited to die. The life support systems were failing. The air tasted stale and thin. Her people had always believed that the universe was full of kindness, but now she knew better. She did not know that her message had been heard. She did not know that 12 human warships were already moving through space toward her location, their crews preparing for a fight. She did not know that help was coming from a small blue world that the galaxy called a death world, a planet so dangerous that its people were forbidden from joining galactic civilization, but she would learn soon enough. The human fleet moved through space like hunting wolves. 12 ships in tight formation, their engines burning bright blue in the darkness. At the front flew the battlecruiser Seoul's Wrath, its hull painted black with white markings that looked like teeth. Captain Minho stood on his bridge and watched the stars. His crew worked quietly around him, checking weapons and preparing for battle. They had been traveling for 6 days at maximum speed. The alien distress signal grew stronger each hour. "Captain," called Lieutenant Sora from her station. "We are getting close to the signal source. My sensors show a damaged ship ahead." "Any sign of the attackers?" "No, sir. The pirate ships are gone." Captain Minho nodded. "Pirates were like sharks. They attacked fast and then disappeared. But they might come back. All ships battle ready. Do not know what we will find." The human fleet slowed as they approached the alien vessel. Through the main viewing screen, Captain Minho could see Harmony's light floating in space like a broken toy. Parts of the ship were torn open. Air and debris drifted around it in slow circles. "It looks dead, sir," said Commander Tae-young, the head of the ship's Marines. "But I am getting weak life signs from inside." "Survivors," Captain Minho said. "Get me Dr. Soman." Dr. Soman was the fleet's expert on alien life. She was a small woman with quick hands and a sharp mind. She had studied every piece of alien technology that Earth had ever found, but she had never met a living alien before. "Captain, this is very exciting," she said as she arrived on the bridge. "We are about to make first contact with another species." "They are dying, Doctor? How do we help them without making things worse?" Dr. Salman looked at the readings from the alien ship. "Their life support is failing. The air is too thin and too cold. If we do not act fast, They will all be dead in a few hours. Captain Minho made his decision. And Commander Taeyong, prep your Marines for boarding. Full environment suits. We go in slow and careful. Sir, Lieutenant Sora said quietly. The space treaties say we should wait for permission from our government before making contact with aliens. Those treaties were written by people sitting safely on Earth, Captain Minho replied. These beings are dying right now. We can ask for forgiveness later. The human boarding shuttle attached to the side of Harmony's light with a soft thump. Commander Taeyong led 6 Marines through the airlock. They moved like dancers in their bulky spacesuits, each step careful and precise. The inside of the alien ship was dark and cold. Emergency lights cast red shadows on the walls.
Ow.
The corridors were built for beings much taller and thinner than humans. Everything looked delicate, like it might break if touched too hard. This way, Dr. Salmon said, following her scanner. I am reading life signs in this direction. They found the survivors huddled together in a small room. Commander T. First sight of the aliens made him stop and stare. They looked like tall, thin people made of moonlight. Their skin was pale as snow, and their eyes were large and dark. They wore simple robes that seemed to glow with soft light. One of the aliens saw the humans and made a sound like wind through leaves. The others looked up with expressions of fear and hope mixed together. Easy, Dr. Salmon said softly, though she knew they could not understand her words yet. She held up her hands to show she was not armed. We are here to help. Captain Yuna had been watching her people die slowly for hours. The cold made them weak, and the thin air made them sleepy. She had almost given up hope when the strange beings appeared. They were shorter than Kaleri and much thicker. Their bodies were covered in hard shells that looked like armor, but their movements were gentle and their voices were soft. One of them, a female by her voice, was making soothing sounds. Dr. Salmon worked quickly to set up her translation computer. It was designed to learn alien languages by listening to speech patterns. After a few minutes, it began to make sense of the Kaleri words. Can you understand me? Dr. Salmon asked in broken Kaleri. Captain Yuna's eyes grew wide. Yes, we can understand. Are you? ... Are you here to help us? We heard your distress call. We came as fast as we could, but who are you? What species are you from? Dr. Salmon hesitated. How could she explain humans to beings who had never heard of Earth? We are called humans. We come from a world called Earth. Captain Yuna tried to remember if she had heard that name in galactic databases. Earth... I do not know this world. Are you part of the Galactic Council? No, Dr. Salmon said. We are... new to space travel. What she did not say was that Earth was forbidden from joining the Galactic Council. The human homeworld was classified as a Class 12 death world, a place so dangerous that its people were considered too violent for peaceful galactic society. Commander Taeyong was setting up emergency life support equipment. His Marines worked with smooth efficiency, their movements quick and sure. To the Kolari, who had lived their entire lives in gentle environments, the humans looked incredibly strong and capable. Your ship, Captain, Yuna said weakly. How did you get here so fast? The Galactic Council ships would take weeks to reach us. We have fast ships, Dr. Salmon said simply. What she did not mention was that human warships were built for speed and fighting, not comfort and trade like most galactic vessels. As the emergency heaters warmed the air, Captain Yuna felt strength returning to her body. She sat up and looked more carefully at her rescuers, the beings who attacked us. They were Vorthok pirates. They took most of my crew. They said they would sell them as slaves or worse. Commander Taeyong looked up from his equipment, even through his helmet. His anger was clear. Pirates, he said in Korean. Then, in broken Kaleri, where did they go? I do not know. They have many ships, many hiding places. They have been attacking peaceful traders for years. The Galactic Council cannot stop them. Cannot or will not, Commander Taeyong asked. Captain Yuna did not understand the difference. The Council speaks of peace and law. They do not fight, even against evil. Dr. Salmon, and Commander Taeyong exchanged looks. On Earth, people who hurt the innocent faced swift justice. The idea of letting pirates run free was hard for them to accept. "Your crew," Dr. Soman said. "How many were taken?" 37 souls, Captain Yuna replied. "Good people who never hurt anyone. The Vorthok will work them to death in their mines, or feed them to their young." Commander Taeyong spoke into his radio. "Captain Minho, we have survivors. 6 Kalari aliens. They say pirates took most of their crew." Captain Minho's voice crackled back. "Understood. We're the survivors. Weak but alive. Captain, they say. The pirates are called the Vorthok Syndicate. They have been attacking peaceful species for years." There was silence on the radio. Then Captain Minho spoke again. "Get the survivors to safety. We will discuss this more when you return." As the humans prepared to move the Kalari to their ships, Captain Yuna grabbed Dr. Summon's arm. Her grip was gentle but desperate. "Please," she said. "I know we have just met, and I know you owe us nothing, but my people. They are good people. They sing songs and grow flowers and never hurt anyone. If there is any way you can help them." Dr. Salman looked into those large dark eyes and saw something that touched her human heart. She saw innocence that had been broken by cruelty, hope that refused to die, and trust offered to complete strangers. "We will do what we can," she promised Anne. Hour later, the 6 Kalari survivors were safe aboard human ships. They sat in the medical bay of Soul's Wrath, wrapped in warm blankets and breathing clean air. Dr. Soman gave them food and water while Captain Minho asked careful questions. "This Vorthok Syndicate," he said. "How many ships do they have?" "Many," Captain Yuna replied. "Maybe 50 or more. They're based in the asteroid fields of Ketsavan, but it is a fortress. No one has ever attacked it successfully." "What kind of weapons do they use?" "Plasma cannons, mostly. And boarding parties with shock weapons. They prefer to take ships intact so they can sell them." Captain Minho nodded. He was already forming plans in his mind. He said the Galactic Council cannot stop them. "Why not?" Captain Yuna looked confused by the question, because that would require violence. "The Council species are peaceful. We do not fight wars, even against people who murder and enslave innocents. Violence only creates more violence," Captain Yuna said, repeating words she had learned since childhood. "The Council believes that all conflicts can be solved through talking and understanding." Commander Taeyong, who had been listening quietly, made a sound like a growl. "Tell that to your captured crew." Captain Minho stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the wreckage of Harmony's light drifted in space like a monument to the failure of passive resistance. "Captain Yuna," he said, "finally your people seem very kind. But kindness without strength only encourages the cruel." "What do you mean?" Captain Minho turned back to face her. His eyes were hard as steel, but his voice was gentle. "I mean that sometimes the only way to stop a monster is to show it a bigger monster." Captain Yuna did not understand what he meant. Her people had no concept of predators becoming protectors, of violence used to defend the innocent. She would learn, though. She would learn what it meant to have Deathworlders as allies. Intelligence Officer Jimin sat in the dark room filled with computer screens. His fingers moved quickly over the keyboard as he studied the data from the Kalari ship. Every piece of metal, every burn mark, every computer file told him something about the enemy. "Captain Minho," he called through the communication system. "I have found something interesting." Captain Minho arrived in the intelligence room 5 minutes later. He looked tired. They all did. They had been working for 18 hours straight, planning their next move. "What do you have, Jamin?" "The Vorthok ships left traces when they attacked. Small pieces of metal, energy signatures, computer codes. I used our computers to track these traces." Jimin pointed to a star map on the main screen. Red dots marked dozens of locations across the sector. "These are all the places where Vorthok ships have attacked in the past year. I found a pattern." "Captain." Minho studied the map. "They are moving in circles around something." "Yes, sir. And that something is here." Jimin pointed to a cluster of asteroids marked on the map. "Ketsavan. It matches what Captain Yuna told us." "How many ships are we looking at?" "At least 40 Vorthok vessels, maybe more. But they do not stay together. They send out small groups to hunt, then return to base. Captain Minho smiled. It was not a kind smile. So we picked them off one by one. An hour later, the human fleet split into 3 groups. Commander Ji-hoon took 4 ships and moved toward the outer patrol routes. Commander Wonho took 3 ships to watch the trade lanes. Commander Seokjin took 4 ships to guard the asteroid fields. Captain Minho kept the battlecruiser Seoul's Wrath in the center. Ready to help any group that found trouble, they did not have to wait long. Commander Ji-hoon was the first to make contact. His destroyer, Bizon's Pride, was hiding behind a large asteroid when his sensors detected movement. For Vorthok ships approaching, his sensor officer whispered, "They are chasing a civilian transport." Through his viewing screen, Commander Ji-hoon could see the chase. The transport ship was small and slow, carrying families trying to escape to safer space. The Vorthok ships were closing in like wolves hunting a deer. "All ships prepare for attack," Commander Ji-hoon ordered. "Remember, we want to save the civilian ship." The Vorthok pirates expected an easy hunt. Transport had no weapons and could not run fast enough to escape. They had done this hundreds of times before. Attack, capture, enslave, or kill. They did not expect the asteroids to come alive with human ships. Commander Ji-hoon's destroyer came out of hiding first, its weapons already charging. The other human ships followed, moving in a pattern the Vorthok had never seen before. Most galactic species fought in straight lines, ship against ship. But humans had learned to fight in 3 dimensions, using gravity and momentum as weapons. "Target their engines first," Commander Ji-hoon ordered. "We want prisoners for questioning." The first Vorthok ship died in seconds. Human weapons were designed to punch through the heaviest armor, and Vorthok ships were built for raiding, not real fighting. The pirate vessel exploded in a ball of fire. The second Vorthok ship tried to run, but Commander Ji-hoon had predicted this. His ships had surrounded the pirates before attacking. There was nowhere to go. "Surrender now, Commander." Ji-hoon broadcast on all frequencies. "Drop your weapons and prepare to be boarded." The Vorthok captain's reply was full of anger and threats. He had never been challenged by prey before. He ordered his remaining ships to attack with everything they had. It was a mistake. The human ships moved like dancers in space. They used the asteroid field as cover, appearing and disappearing behind the floating rocks. The Vorthok weapons could not hit targets that moved so unpredictably, but human weapons found their targets every time in 5 minutes. The fight was over. 3 Vorthok ships were burning wrecks. The 4th had surrendered when its engines were destroyed. Commander Ji-hoon sent Marines to board the surviving pirate ship. What they found inside made them angry. The ship's cargo hold was full of cages, holding alien prisoners, families that had been captured from other attacks. "Get them medical attention," Commander Ji-hoon ordered, "and find out everything the Vorthok know about their base." The news of the first victory spread quickly through the human fleet. But Captain Minho was not celebrating yet. He knew this was just the beginning. "The pirates will know we are here now," he told his officers. "They will be more careful." He was right. Within hours, Vorthok Command had heard about the destroyed patrol ships. For the first time in their history, someone was fighting back effectively. War leader Gorvak was the oldest and cruelest of the Vorthok commanders. He had led raids for 30 years and never lost a ship to enemy action. I don't know if you heard about the attack. He did not believe it at first. "Impossible," he growled to his lieutenants. "What species dares to challenge us?" Survivors say they were called humans. War leader. It's from a world called Earth. Gorvak searched his memory. He had never heard of humans or Earth. "Find out everything about these humans. How many ships do they have? What weapons? Where do they come from?" But the galactic databases had very little information about Earth. The planet was listed as a Class 12 death world. It's forbidden from galactic contact. Most species assumed it was empty or filled with mindless beasts. "Deathworlders," Gorvak said slowly. "Interesting. Send word to all our ships. These humans think they can challenge the Vorthok Syndicate. We will show them what real predators can do." Meanwhile, war strategist Hyunjin had been busy with his own kind of warfare. He sat in a room full of communication equipment, preparing his psychological attack. "Captain Minho," he said, "I am ready to begin broadcasting to the Vorthok frequencies. What do you have planned? Hyunjin smiled. I studied their culture. The Vorthok believe they are the most feared predators in the galaxy. They think fear is their special weapon. But they have never felt real fear themselves, so you are going to teach them. Yes, sir. I have prepared recordings of human war songs, battle footage from our history, and stories of what happens to people who hurt innocents on Earth. Captain Minho nodded. Begin transmission. Across the sector, Vorthok communication systems began receiving strange signals. At first, the pirates thought it was noise or equipment failure, but then they realized the signals contained messages. The first message was a human war song. The music was unlike anything the Vorthok had ever heard. Deep drums that sounded like heartbeats, voices that howled like hunting wolves, instruments that screamed like diving birds of prey. The second message was worse. It showed images of human soldiers in battle, moving through impossible environments with casual skill. Deathworld warriors who treated deadly radiation and crushing gravity like minor inconveniences. The third message was the worst of all. It was Captain Minho's voice, speaking in translated Vorthok. You have taken innocent people from their families. You have caused pain and suffering for your own pleasure. This ends now. Surrender the prisoners and face justice, or we will hunt you down one by one until none of you remain. War leader Gorvak listened to the messages with growing unease. Humans did not sound like any species he had encountered before. They did not ask for mercy or offer negotiations. They promised only justice and vengeance. For the first time in his life, Gorvak felt something he had never experienced. Doubt? How many ships do these humans have? He asked his intelligence officers. We count 12 vessels, war leader. Have 43 ships available, and we outnumber them almost 4-1. Send word to all commanders. Bring every available ship to Keth 7. We will crush these Deathworlders before they can do more damage. But even as he gave the order, Gorvak wondered if numbers would be enough. The humans had destroyed 4 ships without taking any damage. They fought with a skill and ruthlessness that reminded him of the old stories his grandmother used to tell, stories of the ancient predators who had once hunted his people on their homeworld, stories he had thought were just myths to frighten children. Captain Yuna watched the human preparations from the medical bay of Soul's Wrath. She did not understand everything she saw, but she could feel the change in the humans around her. They moved with purpose now, their casual friendliness replaced by focused intensity. They checked weapons, studied star charts, and spoke in quiet voices about tactics and targets. Dr. Soman, she said to the human doctor who had been caring for her. Your people are planning to attack the Vorthok base, are they not? Yes, doctor. Soman replied simply, but there are so many pirates, and you have so few ships. Is this not dangerous for you? Dr. Soman paused in her work and looked at Captain Yuna with kind eyes. Everything worth doing is dangerous, but we cannot let evil people hurt innocents while we stand by and do nothing. The Galactic Council says that violence only creates more violence. Maybe, Dr. Soman said, but sometimes violence is the only thing that stops violence. Captain. Yuna was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked, what will happen to my captured crew? We will get them back, Dr. Soman promised. All of them. How can you be so sure? Dr. Soman smiled, and for just a moment, Captain Yuna saw something in her eyes that was both comforting and terrifying. It was the look of a predator who had chosen to protect rather than hunt. Because, Dr. Soman said quietly, we are very good at hunting monsters. The asteroid base of Keth 7 floated in space like a metal mountain. It had been built inside a huge rock, with weapons and shields that could destroy any attacking fleet. The Vorthok had made it their home for 50 years, and no one had ever dared to challenge them here, but they had never faced Deathworlders before. Admiral Yunhua stood on the bridge of Soul's Wrath and studied the enemy fortress through his viewing screen. Intelligence reports showed thousands of prisoners inside, aliens from dozens of species, all captured by Vorthok raids. Captain Nayan, he said into his communication device. What do your scouts report? Captain Nayan led the human stealth ships. She and her crew had spent 2 days sneaking around the asteroid base, gathering information. Admiral, the situation is worse than we thought. her voice crackled through the speakers. "We count over 3,000 prisoners. They are being used as slaves in the mining tunnels. The Vorthok are also using them for other things." Admiral Hyenwoo's face grew hard. "Other things? Some species are being used as food, sir. Others are being sold to different pirate groups. We found records showing they have been doing this for decades." The bridge fell silent. Every human officer understood what this meant. The Vorthok were not just pirates, they were running an extermination operation against peaceful species.
Ow.
"Many Vorthok ships are defending the base. 42 vessels, Admiral. They have called in everything they have." Admiral Hyenwoo nodded. The humans were outnumbered almost 4-1, but they had advantages the pirates did not understand. "Now ships, prepare for assault." "Engineers Daeon and Yoongi, are you ready?" The two engineers had been working on a special plan. They had studied the asteroid's mining equipment and found a weakness. "Yes, sir," Engineer Daeon replied. "The mining lasers are designed to cut through rock, but we can reverse their power flow. Instead of cutting, they will explode. The explosion will crack the asteroid structure," Engineer Yoongi added. "It will not destroy the base, but it will disable their main weapons." "Perfect. Sergeant Yunho, are your Marines ready for tunnel fighting?" Sergeant Junho was a veteran of Earth's underground wars. He knew how to fight in tight spaces where normal tactics did not work. "My people are ready, Admiral. We've studied the base layout. We know where the prisoners are kept. Remember," Admiral Hyenwoo said to all his officers, "our primary mission is to save the prisoners. Destroying the pirates is secondary." The attack began at dawn, ship time.
Ow.
The human fleet approached Ket 7 in a formation the Vorthok had never seen before. Instead of attacking in a straight line, the ships moved in a complex spiral pattern. Using the asteroid field for cover, War Leader Gorvak watched from his command center deep inside the base. He had 42 ships to 12, but something about the human movement patterns made him nervous. "All ships, attack formation," he ordered. "Crush these Deathworlders." The Vorthok fleet moved to intercept the humans, but they quickly discovered their mistake. The human ships were not trying to fight a traditional space battle. They were using the asteroids themselves as weapons. Commander, Hyun's destroyer group used gravity assists to accelerate chunks of rock toward the pirate ships. The Vorthok had never seen this tactic before. Most galactic species fought in empty space, not asteroid fields. Commander Wanho's cruisers used the spinning asteroids for cover, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. Their weapons fired with deadly accuracy, targeting the weak points in Vorthok ship designs. But the real surprise came from engineers Daeun and Yoongi. Working from a captured Vorthok ship, they accessed the asteroid base's mining computer systems. "Admiral, we are in," Engineer Daeon reported, beginning power reversal now. Deep inside Kef 7, the massive mining lasers began to overload. The Vorthok technicians tried to shut them down, but the humans had locked them out of their own systems. The explosion shook the entire asteroid. The base's main weapons went offline, and cracks appeared in the outer walls. Emergency alarms screamed through the tunnels. "Admiral," Hunhua ordered, "all assault teams, go." Human boarding shuttles swarmed toward the damaged base. Sergeant Junho led the first wave, his Marines moving through the broken sections of the asteroid like water flowing downhill. The Vorthok defenders had never fought enemies like these. The humans moved through zero-gravity and radiation-filled tunnels as if they were walking in a park.
Ow.
They used the twisted metal and debris as cover, turning the base's own damage against its defenders. Squad 1, secure the prisoner levels. Sergeant Junho ordered. Squad 2, find their command center. Squad 3, with me, we are going after their leaders. The fighting was brutal, but brief. The Vorthok were used to terrorizing unarmed civilians, not battling trained soldiers in their own environment. The humans moved with deadly efficiency, their weapons and tactics overwhelming the confused pirates. Dr. Yoongi worked frantically in the prison levels, providing medical care to thousands of rescued aliens. Many were near death from starvation and abuse. Her Deathworld-adapted immune system allowed her to work in conditions that would have killed most galactic medics. This one needs immediate surgery, she called to her assistants. I have never seen them before. Get me the xenobiology database. As the battle raged, Captain Yuna watched from the safety of Sol's Wrath. She could see the human ships dancing between the asteroids, their weapons flashing like lightning. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. They fight like nothing I have ever seen, she whispered to Dr. Salmon. This is how Deathworlders fight, Dr. Salmon replied. We learned from the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. Within 6 hours, the battle was over. The Vorthok fleet was destroyed or captured. War leader Gorvak himself was taken prisoner by Sergeant Junho's Marines. The asteroid base was under human control, but the real victory was in the prison levels. Over 3,000 aliens from 47 different species were freed from their cages. Many had been slaves for years, some for decades. Commander Kyungjae delivered humanity's final message to the surviving Vorthok leaders. Your reign of terror is over. You will face justice for your crimes. And if any other pirates think they can continue your work, remember this day. Remember what happens when Deathworlders decide to hunt. 6 months after the Battle of Keth 7, Ambassador Haniel walked through the corridors of the Galactic Council chambers. She was the first human ever to set foot in this place, and every alien I followed her movements. The rescued prisoners had spread word of humanity's intervention across the galaxy. Species that had lived in fear of pirates now spoke of the Deathworlders who had answered their calls for help. The Council will see you now, said a tall, blue-skinned alien who served as a diplomatic aide. Ambassador Hanyul entered the Great Chamber where representatives from 200 species sat in a vast circle. At the center stood Captain Yuna, who had become the official liaison between the Kalari and the humans. Honored council members. Captain Yuna began, I present Ambassador Hanyul of the human species, representing the world called Earth. A murmur ran through the chamber. Many of the council members had read the reports about Earth's forbidden status as a death world. The council speaker, an ancient being with crystalline skin, addressed Ambassador Hanyo directly. Human, your species was classified as too dangerous for galactic contact. Yet, you have intervened in council space and engaged in military action without authorization. Ambassador Hanyul stood calmly in the center of the great chamber. She had expected this challenge. Honored speaker, she replied. We received a distress call from beings in danger. We responded as any civilized species should. If that violates your laws, then perhaps your laws need to be examined. You destroyed an entire pirate organization, another council member accused. Use violence to solve a problem that could have been resolved through negotiation. Negotiation? Ambassador Hanyul's voice remained respectful but firm. For 50 years, this council negotiated, while the Vorthok murdered and enslaved innocents. How many more would have died while you talked? Captain Yuna stepped forward. Honored council, I speak for all the species that were rescued by the humans. They saved over 3,000 lives. We stopped atrocities that we could not stop ourselves. An alien with multiple arms raised one appendage. But at what cost? Violence breeds violence. Now, other species may think war is the answer to their problems. War was already the answer, Ambassador Hanyul said quietly. The Vorthok chose war when they began their attacks. We simply chose to win it. The debate continued for hours. Some council members praised humanity's actions. Others worried about the implications of allowing a death world species into galactic society. Finally, the council speaker called for order. Ambassador Hanyul, your species has violated our protocols, but you have also saved thousands of lives. The council must decide how to proceed. The vote took 3 days. In the end, a new resolution was passed, the Deathworld Doctrine. It recognized humanity's role as protectors of peaceful civilizations while establishing guidelines for their involvement in galactic affairs. Admiral Hainwu read the Council's decision from his office on Earth. Humanity would be allowed to establish joint defense stations throughout the Outer Rim. Human military advisors would train volunteer defenders from various species. Most importantly, Earth would have a permanent seat on the Galactic Security Committee. We did it, he said to Captain Minho, who had been promoted to Admiral for his actions at Keth 7. We are no longer forbidden from the galaxy. At what cost? Admiral Minho asked. Now, everyone expects us to be their protectors. Admiral Hunwa smiled. Maybe that is not such a bad thing. The galaxy has been peaceful for so long that they forgot how to deal with evil. Someone needs to remember how to fight. On the Outer Rim, the first joint human-alien defense station was being built. Captain Yuna worked alongside human engineers, learning how to adapt their aggressive tactics for defensive purposes. It is strange, she told Dr. Soman, as they watched human and Kaleri workers cooperating on the station's construction. 6 months ago, I thought your people were monsters because you came from a death world. Now I understand that monsters are not defined by where they come from, but by what they choose to do. Dr. Soman nodded. The galaxy needed to learn that. Being peaceful and being helpless are not the same thing. We needed to learn that strength can be used to protect as well as to destroy. As the new station took shape, both human and alien workers could see the change it represented. The galaxy was no longer a place where only the cruel could prosper. The peaceful species now had guardians who understood both the value of life and the necessity of defending it. Admiral Hyanwu's final log entry read, "They called for help, and we answered. They expected salvation, and we delivered justice. They feared our world made us monsters, they were right. We are the monsters that hunt monsters." The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Sometimes the most terrifying predators are those who choose to protect rather than prey upon the innocent. In the Outer Rim, where pirates once ruled through fear, new songs were being sung. They were songs of gratitude, of hope, and of the Deathworld warriors who had taught the galaxy that evil could be stopped by those brave enough to fight it. The humans had found their place among the stars not as conquerors, but as guardians. The galaxy was safer for it.